So I'm going to talk to you guys about gamification. So the relevance with gamification is that it's a different way of learning the material for students. It identifies visually where subjects can occur and it encourages strategic thinking. So you should learn more because there are varieties of ways to incorporate gamification within different subjects, which is why I'm learning more. It's a more hands-on way of learning. So some benefits include students have control over their learning. It increases student proficiency as well as a direct observation to know where students are struggling and succeeding. So, how does it work? These are game based elements, so you can use a website, an online community, or in the classroom, such as challenges and activities that aren't technological. So, like non technological examples would include Four Corners, Teacher versus Class, Jeopardy, and Scavenger Hunt. While technological examples would include Prodigy, Extra Math, which are two math websites, a virtual point system, Quest, Kahoot, and Quizlet, which can be used as a studying tool. So, some pros, it gives you instant feedback, is student engagement, urge for students to complete challenges, and increases social interaction, visible learning, immersion, and personal learning. Some cons, you just have to make sure that if you do use an online based gamification, you just have to make sure it doesn't violate COPA and FERPA and it doesn't violate any data privacy um, points. You also have to make sure that there are no monthly costs. If there are, is it towards the parents, the teacher, or the administration, school, district? You just have to watch out for those. It can also lead to loss of performance and undesired behavior, but based on my research, that is really rare and usually occurs in 1 out of every 20 students. But you just have to watch out for that if it does occur. So it meets multiple means of engagement by giving points for meeting like individual goals. You can collaborate with all the playful barriers. It also meets multiple means of action and expression by immediate feedback. Scaffolding is really important. These definitely scaffold your lesson. It also meets multiple means of representation by different ways of displaying information and alternatives for visual and auditory information, as well as role playing. And at young elementary kids, they love to role play. So, in the development of the learning environment, it connects students to content on an emotional level. Questions can be manipulated by the teacher to give given to specific students. So if you do have a student struggling, you can give them more content on what they are struggling and what the content before. Well, if you have a gifted student, you can give them more advanced questions. It can also reflect on personalized performance, and there are new techniques to solve problems as well. And you could work together. So when you communicate gamification with parents, you want to make sure to mark these key points when talking to them. So you want to make sure to tell them that it encourages students to learn more material to gain their knowledge by providing a virtual point system when tasks are completed. Also, students have control. Teacher have control over the questions, but the students have control over the pace they answer those questions, which is really important. You also need to make sure that the parents know of any parent permission of any website being used, and the Data Privacy Act if it violates COPA or if it goes with COPA and FERPA. And also, how does it incorporate with your content? If you're doing math, how does it incorporate with math? If you're doing English, how does it incorporate with that? So these are my two resources I used. I used an introduction to gamification, adding game elements for engagement, as well as an analysis of gamification education. I hope you guys will learn to use gamification in your classroom.